Hello and welcome unexpectedly, because the video started by itself again, to episode 100 and something. Hang on a minute. 5? Yes, episode 105 of the very ill-prepared Mouses Makes podcast. My name is Mandy, sometimes known as Mouse. And in that basket, hopefully soon will be Miss Puppy, who has just taken herself off for a wander. Oh. See, I wasn't prepared and now I'm knocking everything over. I'm a little bit out of breath. I haven't been doing anything. I'm just having some palpitations, which is why I hadn't started the video yet until I got my breath back. It's okay. It'll settle down in a minute. It's the thyroid thing. Nobody panic. Okay. I'm going to try and talk a little bit louder this week. I've had some complaints that people can't hear me. I've explained before, I record on my phone and there is no facility to plug in an outside microphone. So this is the best I can do, I'm afraid, is kind of shout at you. So I'm sorry if you can't hear me. You'll just have to turn whatever device you're listening to me on up, or put the closed captioning on. I'm sorry. I can do no more. Right, I'm going to show you the things I've been working on this week. The sun is coming in and out, so I don't know whether I want the blind open or not. That might be alright, actually. Okay. First, she's calling me now. What's the matter? She wants me to come and do something, I don't know what. Right, never mind bossy cats. This week, I have been working on something different every day from my knitting tombola jar. I have, actually, before I get into what I've been knitting, I should talk about what I asked you for opinions on last week, shouldn't I? So, I asked you whether you thought I should pull down my rocket tee or finish it, and whether I should pull down the Christmas socks or finish them. I haven't got them out to show you because I forgot. Never mind. If you didn't see last week's, you won't know what I'm talking about, but if you did, you will hopefully remember. So, there were many varying opinions. What I've decided to do is pull them both down. The rocket tee I'm going to re-knit in a different pattern, just because I'm a bit over the rocket tee for a minute. I've knit quite a few. And the Christmas socks, again, I want to knit in a different pattern, a pattern that I didn't have when I cast them on last autumn, because it didn't come out until I think spring this year. This year sometime anyway. So yeah, that's what I'm planning to do with those two. The blanket, which you saw me start to pull down, I'm sorry if you can hear that. That's one of our neighbours who's got a very noisy exhaust. I pulled it down completely. I've put all the yarn in a bag with a pattern ready to cast on at the next cast on party. Whoever holds it, whether it's Tonya from Karma's a Stitch or Karen from Recreational Knitting, brain not functioning at full speed, I'm going to recast those three things on. Maybe the socks, maybe not the socks. Certainly the rocket tee in its new incarnation and the new blanket. I'll be doing both of those. Maybe a couple of other things as well. Don't know. Anyway, thank you for your opinions on that. Now, what I have actually been knitting this week, I've been knitting this. It's the Litmus Cow by Jude from Stranded Dye Works, but back when he was known as Amy Florence. It is, I believe, a free pattern on Ravelry. I showed it to you after the cast on party, and I said I thought I might have a bit of a problem with the yarn that I'd got for the contrast. This is how much I have so far. I don't think I had very much at all when I showed it to you the first time. As I suspected, the contrasting yarns, which Dave bought me for my birthday from Etsy, I don't think it's fingering weight. I think it may be. I'm not sure it's thick enough for DK. It might be a sport, but it's certainly, and I know Cascade Heritage is quite fine, it's certainly a lot thinner than the Cascade Heritage that I'm knitting as the main colour. Can you see that? How it's kind of lumpy? That's because it's thicker. I don't really mind. It's not going to affect the finished item too much. I love the colours, and the fact that they are kind of standing proud and are a denser fabric than the main body, I don't think I'm going to mind that at all. So I'm quite happy with that. I have adapted the pattern slightly. You're supposed to do the same number of stitches for the main colour and your contrasts, but because this is so much thicker, I'm doing less rows to get the same width of the band, and it seems to be working okay, so I'm going to carry on with that. I have put no I haven't. I've put 3 stripes in, and I have 2 left to go. There were 5 in the little mini kit. These 2 are quite alike, but I think this is the next one because it's just got a bit more of the red in it. And then finally this one. They've got a bit tangled. I'll sort them out. I don't know whether that belongs to this ball or that ball. We don't need to deal with that now. I've dropped a load of it on the floor. Sorry. It's the usual chaos. Right. They came, as I say, from Etsy, and the diet was D Crochet 15, and that's actually the name of the shop. So he bought them either, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. I think it was last year. So it's possible there'll be something similar if you were interested in it. The main colour is Cascade Heritage, and it's 5601, which, although it looks black, is actually a very, very dark blue. The colourway is called Night, and it does look black unless you put it against something black, in which case you can see that it's blue toned. But I thought that went quite well. I'd been going to do it in grey, like most Litmus Cow kits come with a grey main skein, and then I thought maybe I'd do it in black. But then I found this in my stash, and I've only got the one skein of it, and I thought, well, what else am I going to use it for? And in actual fact, because there's blue in the first 2 colours, I think it works quite well. Anyway, whether it works well or not, that's what I'm doing, so it's too late. Sorry, I don't really need to do up zips and make that horrible noise, do I? And I haven't put that in there, so I'm going to have to open it again. I'm going to leave that till afterwards. Sorry. Right. This one is a bit more exciting. This is a Sonnenstunden by Evie Knitwear. Let me find the picture. No. Yes. I actually have 2 of these on the needles. this one is the pink version. I think I've messed that up. Let me turn that back. Yes. Sorry, I am really not very prepared for this today, and yeah, it shows. So I have two of these on the needles. I have a blue one, which I think you might have seen a couple of weeks ago, and this one, which I'm knitting with a yarn that I dyed up for a summer sorbet tea and then pulled it down because we didn't get on. We had a few arguments in the making of that, and so I thought I'd knit another one of these because I really like this pattern. This might be my new rocket tea, I'm just warning you now. Right, I'm trying to come a bit closer so you can see. I have divided for the sleeves, and I've got that much done. So somewhere there is a marker, I hope. Oh, maybe there's not. It must have fallen out. There was a marker in here for where you saw it last, but I have no idea where I was because the marker appears to have fallen out. I'll put a new one in. It feels like it's going to be, where are we? A perfect armscye, is that how you say it? Armhole. I'm a little bit concerned though, because this first ball, I wanted to finish it before I got on to dividing for the sleeves, so I've still got this much of it left, and I only had 300 grams altogether to do the sweater. The other two are in this darker colour. Now I'm panicking a little bit that I may not have enough to finish it because I want to make it a bit longer than the pattern suggests, and of course I need to do the sleeves. The sleeves are 3 inches, I think, before you start the rib for the cuff, but I don't have, I mean it looks quite a lot, but it's very soft and squidgy. I don't have a huge amount of this first ball left, so I'm worrying a little bit. I can always dye up a third skein to finish it with, but I dyed these all at the same time, so my hope of getting it anywhere near the two is slim. What I might have to do is go with a solid colour, pick up one of the colours that's in it and do a solid just to finish it off. But I'm going to have to make a decision, because not yet, but further down, because I don't want it to have just that much of a different colour. It's got to be balanced with the top, I feel. So I might decide to get so far down it, then dye up another skein to finish it off, so that I've got enough of this to finish the sleeves. It's tricky. Don't know why I do this to myself, but I do. So this is actually, although it was cast on after the blue one, this is actually further along, because I abandoned the blue one for a while until I started my knitting tombola. This has, as you can see, a garter section that runs down each raglan. So there's 4 of those, and then that continues down the side. Don't think there's really enough of it for you to see. Well, I suppose you can a bit. So they meet up under the sleeve. You add in some stitches and then you just carry on the garter down the side of the sweater. So that makes it a little bit more interesting than just round and round, which is when I lose interest in sweaters and tees, because all the interest of the shaping, whatever it might be, is over. I have this goal of getting to dividing for the sleeves, and then when I've done that, it's just boring. So I lose interest. But hopefully, especially as I've got 2 of them on the needles, hopefully I will not lose interest, because it's got this little garter, 2 garter sections, just to keep me switched on. She says hopefully. That's that. I'm going to leave that out of its bag so I remember to put a... I know what happened. Oh gosh. Come on then. I was using, because I was travelling looping it, I was using the beginning of round marker as a marker from where you saw it last, and then I moved into the round properly and took the marker out. Sorry. I'm going to put that there so I remember to put another one in, so that next time you see it, which will probably be in about a month's time, although not necessarily. My knitting tombola has got about 25 projects in, so I was thinking it may be about a month before you see it again, but it might not, because I might pull it out tomorrow to work on. Who knows? Right, something else to show you that you have seen before, but only when it was very, very tiny. What are we looking at? Is it the wind? You can't look at the wind. Oh dear, it's very tiring, wherever it is. I'm sorry I didn't come when you called me, but I was busy. This is Stephen West Shawls, and it's the painting bricks. This one is not on my Stephen West Marathon list. Underneath each podcast is a list of the shawls that I'm planning to knit for my Stephen West Marathon. There's 9 shawls and a blanket, and I have added in extra shawls as the year has progressed. Last year's Slip Stravaganza got finished. There's the fragmentation that's not on the list that I'm knitting. What else? Eyelet Burst wasn't on there because it wasn't out then. Painting Bricks is an older one, but although it's not on the list, I started it. I don't know what to tell you. I'm impulsive. Okay, last time you saw it, it was that big. There was just that little bit there. And I wasn't sure that it was going to work out the way I'd imagined. But in actual fact, oh, now that it's a bit bigger, it is working out exactly as I imagined. So the pattern suggests that you use a different colour in each. I'm calling them windows. I don't know what else to call them. I'm not doing that. I have some yarn and I've just lost the end. Oh dear. This is a bad one, people. This is a bad one. I'm using some yarn that I dyed up originally for the Year of Yarn March colourway, but the colours came out way stronger than I wanted. So I got cross and I threw a load of black over it. So I ended up with 6 of these, all different obviously, but all with the same colours in. And I'm intending to make a tea with 3 of them, but 3 of them I've set aside for this. And the way it's knitting up, let me see if I can get it so you can see. So each little window has got shades of grey. You can see like a little orange speckle in there. Don't know if you can see it, there's gold, there's some olive green. There's loads of pretty colours in there. And My original plan had been to use orange for the main colour, but I wavered at the last minute and I wasn't sure I would wear the orange, and I have another plan for the orange that I've got. So my absolute favourite colour at the moment is this kind of olive green. And I had a skein, or a ball I should say, of West Yorkshire Spinners cardamom it is. And so I ordered some more and substituted it for the orange. And I think it's much nicer. I think I'm much more likely to wear it because it's not too in your face. The orange was very orange. So yeah, I am on row 95, which means I'm about a third of the way through, I think. It's quite big when it's finished. It's got a lovely chevron border. And I'm really pleased with how it's coming out. I don't think the camera is picking up all the little flecks as well as it could be. I'm trying to show you. Because it looks really dull on screen. That's a bit better. But when you see it in the flesh, as it were, it's got all these little pretty flecks in it that are making it much more interesting. And it's interesting to knit because, without giving too much away, because it is of course a paid for pattern, you change what you're doing quite frequently, so that keeps your interest. But I love the goldy flecks in it. The orange, not so much. But the gold and the green and the grey I really like. So this one does actually have a marker on it. I'm going to move that now. I get very excited when this comes out of the tombola. Oh my gosh. This has got a really stiff thumb bit on it. So there we go. Painting bricks shawl. I'm looking forward to blocking it as well. It's probably going to be quite what's the word, experience blocking it. Oh yes, I should show you cardamom. I'm not sure which is the right number. It's either 06, 129 or 0752. It's one of those. But it's called cardamom. I think 126 might be the batch. Oh, I don't remember. I'm sure you can work it out. Does that one have cardamom on it? No. I don't know. But anyway, they're both the same makeup. They're both 75, 25 wool and nylon. So they're going together quite well. In fact, I think everything I've shown you is 75, 25. I always forget to tell you that bit because, I don't know, I just forget. And I've just looked at my notes and realised that I've forgotten to bring one thing over that I needed. Never mind, I'll show you the next thing and then I'll pause and get it. Oh, I need to pick that up as well. There is stuff all over the floor now. Patterns have fallen down. Stitch stoppers have fallen off and are now on the floor. It takes me almost as long to clear up after doing this as it does to do the thing in the first place. Right. So the next thing that I am working on, and I'm going to show you. One day a week is blanket day. This week it was the star blanket. This is on my Stephen West marathon list. It is the only blanket that's on there. I'm knitting it for Caroline's, let me get this right because I'll get it wrong if I don't think about it, ABP Star Blanket Mal. I really have to try and visualise it because I always want to put a D in there somewhere. But yeah, it's ABP, Aria Bark Podcast, Starflang Kit, Cow, which runs all year, thankfully, as I doubt I'm going to have finished it. I worked on it on Sunday and I got 8 rows done. It was somewhat underwhelming progress. It's a bit hard to show you as well because it's on a relatively short cord for what it is. I think it's on a 120 centimetre cord. So it's a bit tricky to show you. But I'll show you a section of it so that you can get an idea of the whole. So there's my central star. And now I am working on the stripes around the outside. My weird brain, I said the stripes around the outside, and my brain is going, buffalo girls go around the outside, round the outside. It's really very hard being me sometimes. And I'm sorry I inflicted on you lot as well. Yeah, so I'm doing this bit. And as you can see, there are 5 goldy stripes there. And I only have 2. Which is very sad because I'm quite keen to get onto the brioche. The next section is brioche. And I've spent a lot of time thinking about whether I'm going to do it or not. And then Caroline finished hers and it looks so beautiful that I realised I had to do the brioche. So I'm going to give it a try. And if it's all horrible, I'm going to put a lifeline in so that I can pull back without the drama that I had. You may remember I knit the Star Flake shawl, which is similar, but obviously is a shawl rather than a circle. So it's a semicircle. And I tried the brioche and it all went horribly wrong. I had to pull it back. I ended up going further back than I wanted to, so I had to re-knit some of the bit that came before. I don't want to be doing that with this. There are too many stitches. So I'm going to put in a lifeline. I'm going to try the brioche. And because I've got a lifeline, it's all going to work perfectly, isn't it? Because that's how these things go. It's going to be fine. Right, the yarn that I'm using is mostly Stylecraft. I was just checking myself then because I don't think this is, but the others are. This one's gold. I can't remember what they're called. I thought I could, but no. Excuse the top of my head while I burrow in the bag. Right. Stylecraft Special DK in gold. Warm grey, which is growing on me. I ordered it because I hadn't seen it before, and compared to the silver I thought it just looked a bit yellowed and grubby, but it's alright. Mixed with the gold it's okay. This one is graphite, and then this one is a Hayfield bonus DK, and it is shade 0963, and it is yet another load of yarn that I bought and then realised that if I knit myself a garment out of it I would look naked. This is the theme, you might have noticed. So I can't remember how many balls of this I've got, but it's going to be at least 5, and they'll be going into blankets for fear of the nakedness. So, or the perceived nakedness I should say, there won't be any actual nakedness. So they were the colours I chose, built really around the hayfield because I had that and I needed to use it up, and I have accidentally ended up with a palette that's very similar to the one on the pattern. pattern has dark grey, light grey, more of a yellow. Why are there only 3 colours? Oh, there's a medium grey as well. Yeah. It was purely accidental, and rather than the palest grey, I've got the cream, and rather than the medium grey, I've got the pale grey. So that's how that happened. And now I'm going to pause while I wrestle this back into the bag and get the thing that I forgot. And I'm back. Right. I think you have... No, I know you have seen this before. But not for a while. This is a hat that I'm knitting for myself. And it's kind of my in the car or waiting room knitting. Because it's a small, easy to cart about project. It began life as a muscle bra, but quite frankly I got fed up of knitting it because I knit on it very infrequently, either when I'm in the car as a passenger or in a waiting room waiting. It just seems to have been on the needles forever. So yesterday I started some ribbing. And my plan is to make a slouch hat. I've got this much left. I doubt I'm going to use it all for the ribbing, but I want to make quite a deep ribbing so that I can either wear it with just the ribbing on my head and the hat slouching down the back, or I can fold the ribbing and have less slouch. More like a beret fit, I suppose. There is a fair amount of hat before the ribbing starts, so I'm just going to go with the flow, see when I feel like I've got enough ribbing, and then call it a day. The yarn I'm using is from My Yarny Corner, and if you're familiar with Alex and Danny at My Yarny Corner, you'll realise this is quite an old one, because she has a... Oh wait, no, is this the new one? That is her new badge, isn't it? Please take no notice of me. I need a lie down. I've had it a while anyway. Even though that is their new badge. What was it before? Was it like a basket of flowers? I can't remember. I've got some really old stuff in my big box, but I'm not fishing down in there right now. I've managed to make myself quite out of breath getting this hat. I'm not going to do any more shenanigans. Anyway, ignoring all of that, because it was all nonsense, this is from Alex and Danny at My Yarny Corner, and it's called Licorice All Sorts. I believe she resurrected this colourway in her last shop update, but this is from last year, maybe the year before. I've had it quite a while, and I had it for ages before I knitted anything with it, because it looked so pretty in the skein that I didn't want to disturb it, and I didn't really know what to do with it. I wanted to make something special. I didn't want to do socks. I wanted to do something that would be seen, so I ended up with a hat. I did actually make a mitten before I started the hat. I have got one mitten. Really what I should do is weigh the mitten and see how much yarn I need so that I can stop this, and then I'd have enough yarn to make another mitten. Though I might pull the first one down and make something different. A different pattern, I mean. I didn't like the pattern very much. I didn't like the pattern with this yarn very much. It didn't show the yarn off to its best advantage, and neither did the yarn show the pattern off to its best. So I might do that. That's just occurred to me now. You actually saw that thought in progress. If there was a strange clanking noise, it will have been the wheels in my brain turning. Right, so now I have a plan. Before I do anything else, when I finish recording this, I need to weigh that mitten. Yeah, so the yarn is absolutely gorgeous. It's a dark charcoal grey, striping with yellows and pinks, and all the colours in between those, so oranges and golds, and it's just beautiful. I love it very much. So that is actually all I have to show you today. I'm intending to record again next week, but I mentioned last week I hadn't been very well, and I have got worse as the week has gone on. I'm hoping that by this time next week I might be on some medication to quieten my thyroid down and make me feel a lot better very quickly, but I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. I had a blood test this morning, so I might be being a bit ambitious that it will all be sorted by this time next week. So if there's no episode next week, it's just because I'm feeling too grotty to record one. I think that's all I've got to tell you. Tomorrow is the 12th. The shop update won't be, excuse me. Oh, don't fall on the floor. It's quite late in the month. I think it's the 26th. Yeah, shop update won't be until the 26th. Unless you would like it earlier, in which case let me know. All the yarns are prepared and ready, so it doesn't really matter. I tried to get ahead of myself. Oh, that's not going to stay there now. I'm just going to put it down over there. I tried to get ahead of myself so that I could get on with Advents. And then I just wasn't well enough to get on with the Advents. So I just kept on top of the orders. So that plan didn't work. But hopefully I'll be starting on the Advents very shortly. They'll still be done in plenty of time. Anne Cook, if you're watching, you asked me a question and I replied on Ko-fi. If you don't know how to get to your Ko-fi messages, just email me and I'll email you back with the answer. And I think that really is everything I needed to tell you. I will inevitably, the minute I stop recording, remember that I meant to tell you something else dreadfully important, but at the moment I don't think there is anything, so there you go. Right, 40 minutes again. I thought this was going to be a short one. How do I waffle so much? Right, I'm going to go away, tidy up this mess that I've made, and weigh the mitten. I knew I'd already forgotten I needed to weigh the mitten. I knew there was something, but I couldn't remember what it was. Weigh the mitten. Right, I'm going to do that. And I will hopefully see you next week. If not, then the week after. But almost certainly next week. Shut up, Mandy, and go away. Okay, bye.